Well, Happy New Day, CSA. How feels each and every one of you this wonderful, lovely new day? How feels wonderful, beautiful, handsome, enlightening, fantastically prosperous and healthy you this wonderful, lovely new day? I welcome all of you to today's lesson sermon. Last Thursday, I shared with the initiate class on a topic we've not touched for a very long time: the Eightfold Path of Yoga. And I looked at the topic again and again, and I said, since the mass of the members have not heard it, I will not restrict that, because that is not the Kriya Yoga initiation itself. I will talk about the Eightfold Path of Yoga. You know, in every spiritual organization, there are disciplines and observances which are shared with the congregants or the members to abide by, to show them to the realization of their oneness with God. And we need to be reminded of these basic principles time and again. I remember when in elementary school we had to learn the 10 Commandments by heart. And if you are called to repeat the 10 Commandments and you feel, oh my goodness, how you'll be whipped. So for me, it was to escape the whipping. That was what made me to learn the 10 Commandments. But when I became a CSA member, I was not forced to. I had started incorporating the principles into my life before they were even given to me formally. And it has guided my life. It has made me what I am today. So, what are the eightfold, or what is the eightfold path of yoga? The first, they say, are the yamas and the niyamas, the restraints and observances. The restraints are 5 and the observances are 5. But there is no honor your father and your mother in it. It's like 10 Commandments, but no honor your father and your mother. What it says is that, first, be harmless. Harmlessness. Second, be truthful. Third, practice non-stealing. 4, make wise use of all available energies. And 5, be non-attached. And then with the observances, we have cleanliness. And then Santosh, what was Santosh? Santosh. My goodness, my memory has failed me. like being asked, what is your name? And you forget what your name is. Huh? It has escaped my mind. Will someone remind me? It has also blank. So we are suffering from blankness today. Huh? Oh, no, 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 no. We have cleanliness, and then two, contentment. Yeah, cleanliness, contentment, and then, yeah, my memory is back. Cleanliness, contentment, and then self-discipline, proper study, and examination of the nature of consciousness, and then surrender of the ego in favor of God realization. Then the next one is asana, posture, the ideal meditation posture. The posture for meditation, listen to this, is said to be firm and pleasant. You have heard, be still and know that I am God. How do you become still? What is that firm and pleasant? Last Thursday, one of the students asked me whether that he has seen pictures of people sitting cross-legged, and I shared with him an experience I had with one person who was claimed to be Ghana's yogi. During General Achampon's time as leader of the country, a psychic visited Ghana, Elizabeth Clare Prophet. She visited Ghana and she held a public lecture. And at the public lecture, there was one man who walked up and down the front row, like the space between here, walk up and down, and he had a lot of prayer beads. And he wanted to prove himself that he was even more than the lecturer. Well, after my first TV appearance, I had a phone call, and it was his son, who was then working at the University of Ghana. He called me to arrange an interview for his father. So on the appointed time, this gentleman came in, sat down, and he announced himself. He said, I'm Henry Strong, and I have been on this journey for over 25 years. And then he said to me, but I have one challenge, that is why I've come to you. And I asked him, he said, oh, I sit in the cross-legged position, but anytime I sit in that position, I feel a lot of pains, and I have come for you to show me. I said, my guru taught me that I should sit in a firm and pleasant position. And he taught me the upright position, to sit like this, and that is fine. Because the most important is the spine. And he said, I said, well, I'm telling you what my guru taught me. You have come to search for information from me. And what I have not been taught, I cannot teach you that. This is what my guru taught me. And he sat down. He said, I see, as for me, I'm a renunciate. I said, well, then, I must tell you, you have not been meditating. You have been concentrating on pain for 25 years. And then he wanted to prove to me that he was a real renunciate. He asked me, can I urinate? Can you show me a place? And at that time, he had to go outside to back of a building to urinate. And I took the lead, and I heard something like, I turned back, and the man was urinating on himself. I said, my goodness. The first thing that came to my mind was slapping, but I said, I must practice harmlessness. So I got a duster and, cleaned, wiped his legs and thighs clean, and wiped the floor. And then I asked him I brought another chair without any cloth cover, and asked him to sit on it. And that was the end of our meeting. But then when I was explaining the incident to my brother Felix Gianni, he said, don't you remember this man? He said, when we were in school, he had some of our classmates as his disciples, and they all went crazy. Remember Aite? I said, yeah. And then there was one other guy, both of them, he gave them marijuana to smoke and told them that it will let them know God. And they both went crazy. As for Aite, he went crazy as in walking naked. And the other guy, I was seeing his elder brother was a tailor in our neighborhood, and he would come and he was looking wretched. And so that was my experience of firm and pleasant position in meditation. You see, if you will sit in an upright position and be relaxed, you will, when we draw your attention within and become aware of the spinal pathway, that spinal pathway is the path of God. The spine, the spine has 3 channels, the Ida and the Pingala, and then the central channel is Sushumna, which is the pathway of God. And so, if you want to learn how to sit cross-legged, then during your Hatha Yoga practice, you have to sit cross-legged in the most relaxed way that you don't feel any pain for the duration of your meditation practice. If you can cope with that, fine. But if you are feeling pain, know that you'll be concentrating on pain. You will not even meditate. You'll be concentrating on pain for the time that you sit to try to meditate. And so that is my caution for you. Then when you finish with the posture, there is pranayama, which is regulating the vital forces, controlling regulation of the vital forces in the system. Now, pranayama, prana is the life force, and ayama is the control and regulation. There are some techniques which are shared, the alternate nostril breathing, and then breathe in and hold to the count of 4, breathe out and hold to the count of 4. But with us, our pranayama that we are taught is the Kriya pranayama, of which we are having the class on Thursdays. And the Kriya pranayama is not just a pranayama, it's a pranayama. It also helps us to interiorize, because when you use the pranayama, it helps you to relax within, to turn inward, and then it helps us with our concentration too. Paramahansa Yogananda call it the airplane path to God. The airplane path to God. It is that technique which leads us into direct comprehension of our oneness with God. Now, from pranayama, we have pratyahara, which is the withdrawal of our attention from externals and focus it within. There is a minister in the Far East, I think he's a Catholic minister, who used pratyahara to heal people from addiction. People who are addicted to drugs and other substances. He healed them only through teaching them how to withdraw their attention or withdraw their senses from flowing out and turn them within, and then let them become content, and they are able to withdraw their senses from the substances that they were abusing. But we are not using the withdrawal of our attention. I remember my first Ayurvedic teacher, Dr. David Frawley, wrote an article in one of the yoga magazines on pratyahara. He said, using pratyahara, he used the tortoise. The tortoise has the head and the 2 hands and 2 feet, or the 4 legs. And he says, when the tortoise feels threatened, it withdraws all its limbs within. You can find a tortoise, and if you want to, you can even turn it upside down, and still the legs and the head will be within. It's protected. And so, to protect our attention, we must withdraw our senses and find a common center within. When we withdraw our attention, then we can focus our energies at one point, which is concentration. And when concentration becomes keen, it is meditation. And when concentration and meditation takes us beyond the mind, we experience contemplation. We experience identification with what we are examining. And so these are the 8 steps. First, the discipline of making our mind and our actions, disciplining them from, getting the wrong interaction with our environment, and then observing the practice of self-discipline, cleanliness, and then study of the nature of consciousness, and then surrender of the ego, and the one that we forgot, Contentment. Contentment. You see, when you are able to practice this, a lot of people say they want to be happy. Eh? A lot of people, you meet a lot of people, even they have the happiest country in the whole world is in Europe. Finland, eh? Huh? You think Ghanaians are more happy than the people in Finland? You know, when they say, when you read about the happiest people, you ask yourself, where did they place my country? Well, it is based on our complaints. We are not content. Because when we are established in contentment, we find the highest happiness. We find superlative happiness. And so we must learn to be content. I remember when I was in elementary school, there was a poem we learned. I am content with what I have, little be it or much. And God's contentment still I crave, because thou gavest such. And that thing, that when our teacher taught us, you know, it rang a certain bell in my mind, and I was always asking myself, what is contentment? What is contentment? But when you accept life as it is, you know that whatever I have is what God has given me, and God is the source of my supply. You be content. A person who is not content becomes greedy, and when greed comes, pride also follows, and if you don't take care, you become Humpty Dumpty. You have greed for Bram, like the word that in Eastern Europe, you will fall, and all the king's horses and the king's men can put you back together again. And so please find contentment in your heart, and you'll be closer. Because, you know, one thing the wise men didn't tell us is that when you look at the bliss of God, bliss, we have consciousness, and then intelligence, and bliss. Bliss is the highest happiness. So what it is, the happiness that we are looking for is in God. But unless we become content, you miss finding God. That is why it is part of the niyamas. So let us in our lives do everything we can to find God. And to find God, we must be content. You know, sometimes we are not even content with the experiences that come in our attempt to know God. Maybe you are attempting to know God. God reveals a little bit of this. You say, wow, why? Why? My friend says that when he meditates, he experiences several lights. Why? You know, he made just this small piece, and then, you see, one of Lahiri Mahashe's disciples was a Muslim who worked at the post office. One day, one of his other disciples said to him, why don't you teach me the second Kriya Pranayama? And Lahiri Mahashe turned to the post office worker and said, are you ready for the second Kriya? I said, please. The first one, the bliss that he has given me, I don't want any anymore. Just leave me with this. And then Nehemiah turned to the one who asked him, you see, a bad workman always finds fault with his tools. I remember an experience. Our Roy called me to his office to offer me the chance to work at our printing plant, and told me that two people who had been put there said the machine that I was going to work on was not okay, so they quit the job. And when I went, I blessed the machine. I said to the machine, look, I'm going to be stuck here with you till we finish this thing, so you better, behave yourself. See, they failed to talk to the machine. They didn't see the machine as consciousness. Well, I spoke to the machine, I blessed it. I said, you are my friend. And the machine never broke once on me. The machine which was breaking down on them all the time, never, not a single day did the machine break down on me. And it made me so much money. I'm not lying to you. That history is still at the point. I worked with the machine. It gave me the opportunity to buy a car and other things. A machine which made people to quit the job. Two people before me quit the job. I was the third person. But I saw the machine as an expression of God, and I talked to the machine. Look, how many times do you speak to your car? Every morning when you wake up and you sit behind the steering wheel, just pause for a moment and say, thank you, Father, for this vehicle. And then say, I surround this vehicle with God's pure white light of love, knowing that all its ways are peace and its paths pleasantness. And I thank you, Father, that this is so. And the vehicle will listen to what you have conferred upon it, and it will operate very well for you. Cyril, was yesterday you asked me whether I've been in an accident before? Yesterday I was driving with Cyril and he asked me, have you been in an accident before? I said no. When I'm on an aircraft, I say the same thing. I surround this aircraft with God's pure white light of love, knowing that all its ways are peace and its paths pleasantness. And I thank you, Heavenly Father, that this is so. And you know something? When there is severe turbulence, I sit down with my eyes closed. When they announce that there's turbulence, with my eyes closed, first you hear something slight or nothing. And then people will think that the turbulence that we went through, I was sitting between two sisters, Roman sisters, and I was sleeping. And when it was about 30 minutes to get to Nigeria, I opened my eyes and one of the women asked me, why didn't you hear all these things? I said, this plane, where we are, if anything happens, the plane is coming down. And so I have to make my peace with God. And so whilst it was happening, my attention was turned Godward. And then she looked at me and whispered something to the other person. That was the end of the conversation. You see, the sisters have made God their business. You understand? But when it became critical, they forgot. Don't you ever let hard times make you forget about the presence of God. David said that if I fly high to the highest height, you are there. And if I make my bed in hell, you are there also. So wherever you are, God is. When you remember this, that wherever you are, God is, and therefore all is well, all will be well. And it all comes from these practices. You see, don't let just one thing take your attention from the rest. All the rest were included because they were important. They are all important. If you say you will be truthful, but you will be harmful and you will steal, you see where you end up. Like monopoly, go straight to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200. And so, practice all the principles. And as you practice them, the gains will be yours. Like today. Today is our tithing Sunday. Someone will look for a phrase which says that tithing is bad. And say tithing is bad, so I'm not going to give a tithe. Well, it's unto you. But if here, do unto others as you have them do unto you, you know about the principle of tithing. That's the way I look at it. When I give a tithe, what I'm saying is that I want the world to be a good world. I want the ministry to reach out to make the world a better place. And so, with the Eightfold Path of Yoga, you have the yamas and the niyamas, asana or the meditation posture, and then your pranayama, and then pratyahara, which is internalization, and then concentration, meditation, and contemplation. So don't say that I want to learn how to meditate, but I don't want to know about posture. I don't want to know about pranayama. I don't want to know about internalization. Then how can you meditate? Because there is a process. Meditation is a process. And the process starts with the yamas and the niyamas. Because look, all the thoughts which come to your mind, they are thoughts of your actions and your anticipation. If you are not content, how can you control thoughts of greed? And so, Bojiji, be patient and practice the principles, and everything will turn out right. Namaste.